The relationship between doctors and drug companies has been scrutinised for years for the way it affects doctors' actions and prescriptions. But the influence that pharmaceutical giants and pet food companies have on vets is little known. The vet industry is worth an estimated $8 billion in Australia, and multinational companies are entrenched in the education, research and business of pets, as Sarah White discovered.
So I'm here in Bondi today to release the results of the Pet Positive Score, which is all about getting a snapshot into our pet society, seeing exactly how friendly our cities are.
Australia's best known vet is spruiking the benefits of pet ownership.
When you realise the difference they make to our lives, it, in my opinion, is a very good investment.
He's launching research funded by Mars Pet Care, one of Australia's biggest manufacturers of pet food.
We're about to attempt the impossible here. Multiple dogs being controlled by just one man, that one man being me.
Head up, Chris.
The pet care industry has reach that extends well beyond publicity events like this and deep into the veterinary profession itself.
We're on this little slippery slope of influence that pervades things that we do, and it shouldn't happen.
There's also a conflict of interest in that veterinarians, like all small business people, make money from selling products. So there is an incentive to sell products.
At the Australian Veterinarian Association's annual conference in Hobart, companies have flown from around Australia to ply their wares.
Well, this is just the standard trade display for a veterinary conference. And there's all manner of things, different products, different sorts of equipment.
The commercial associations at this veterinary conference go beyond the exhibitors' hall. Most of the speakers have connections to major pharmaceutical or pet food companies.
As long as that conflict of interest is declared, they're speaking to a discerning audience and then they make their own minds up about what that presenter is telling them. Without sponsors, we couldn't provide the excellent continuing professional development or education to our veterinarians.
And is he yours or the people next door's?
He was a neighbour's cat, but he's just been left as a stray.
The trouble with your dog...
Richard Malik has been a vet for 34 years and is one of Australia's leading cat specialists. He's also been a consultant for pharmaceutical company Zoetis.
Stay, I know it's enough. Listen to his heart and then we're right to go.
He's made a formal complaint to the highest veterinary board in New South Wales, calling for the profession to distance itself from the global pet care industry.
Nothing wrong with his heart. There's a view in veterinary science that we couldn't organise a conference or a seminar or a webinar without the help of pet food companies or drug companies. We couldn't do it.
The powerful pet care industry is involved from the beginning of a vet's career. At Perth Murdoch University, Hill's Pet Food Company sponsors what they call a multi-project funding program. Hill's Food is promoted in the University Vet Hospital. Hills pays for branded clinic coats for students. Almost all discharge letters for animals recommend a Hills diet.
It saddens me that despite terrific developments in veterinary medicine, we've gone down this pathway of commercialisation.
At Sydney University, a Hills veterinary employee teaches nutrition to third-year students. Both Murdoch and Sydney universities defend the deal with Hills, saying they teach other nutritional approaches and it's appropriate to have industry experts present to students.
Bayer created the Bayer Accelerate program with the focus to learn, grow and reward. It was easily
Pharmaceutical giant Bayer, among others, offers courses that earn vets points towards their registration.
Pharmaceutical companies have a large influence in the veterinary industry, both good and bad. The good part is that they provide a lot of continuing education which is required. The bad part is that sometimes that's biased information and maybe we're not getting the full picture when we're being presented with new drugs and new treatment techniques.
Jacob Michelson is a specialist small animal surgeon. He opposes a system where vets both prescribe and sell drugs.
When a veterinarian fills a prescription, it's an in-house thing. They're the ones that make the money on the medication, and there can be a conflict of interest between what's the most appropriate medication and what's the one that's best for the the veterinarian in terms of financial return or whatever else.
For vets, there is even more money to be made with selling premium pet food.
When people come into a waiting room, they're confronted by 2 aisles of merchandising products with a preponderance of pet food manufactured overseas. It's like it's a shop, and it's really wrong because this is a veterinary hospital for sick animals. How can a veterinarian be a trusted provider of scientific information about your pet when he's got a vested interest by selling stuff out the front?
Barney's, come on, Nelly.
Pet owner Sue Schreiner has resisted expensive diets offered by vets.
Early in the piece, before the vet gets to know you, they suggest that this particular canine dog food or feline food would be good for your pet, and when they get to know me, they don't do that because they know that I don't want it.
You know, there's nothing wrong with a vet selling pet food, but we can't compete, say, with bigger pet shops. So it's more about providing a service, I guess. The client wants a particular brand of pet food, and it's not against the law to sell it, Sarah. And we're in business. So the average veterinary clinic these days has to have an anaesthetic machine, an X-ray machine, ultrasound machine. I've got an endoscope, and money doesn't grow on trees.
Richard Malik wants vets to learn from doctors' experience with big pharmaceuticals.
We should have the same ethical standards that doctors do. They've learnt from their mistakes.
Both the peak body representing animal pharmaceutical companies and the Australian Veterinarian Association say they have stringent ethical guidelines.
I know that our profession, the Australian Veterinary Association, has really, quite sound ethical guidelines, and our members would be pretty upset if somebody who is a member of our association breached those guidelines.
I think it's important for pet owners to make up their own minds, to be informed. I think because the vets sell this stuff, that their advice is compromised. They must get some money out of selling these things, but that's not something that we're ever told, the customers.